Listen up. We got ways to make you talk. Or mine.
Yeah.
So tell us what we want to know. Pipe. Yes. Okay. I can. Shoving. Pushing. My problem is that I push people away and then hate them for leaving.
He's saying you can shove it.
What? I can shove it? Okay, that's it. No, we're switching roles. I'm bad cop. You're good cop.
No, we're not cops.
In my head, I saw that differently.
Hey everyone, Jamari here with another video on BVA. I just saw Detective Pikachu last night and this movie was so hilarious. I thoroughly enjoyed it, being a huge Pokemon fan from when I was a young child. I grew up with the trading cards, the video games, the movies. So I'm just a huge fan of Pokemon in general. I play Pokemon Go. I got a Pikachu hoodie that I wore to the movie. I couldn't be more excited that this movie was coming out, and I had to go see it last night, and it did not disappoint. Ryan Reynolds was perfectly cast. Justice Smith showed me that he's definitely a way better actor than I thought he was. It's not that I thought he was a bad actor, but I didn't think that he was a leading man kind of actor. If I'm being honest, I just didn't envision him in that kind of role. But he definitely took over the spotlight, especially with a completely CGI character like Pikachu. It's pretty hard to interact with those kind of characters and be so engaging and everything. But I think he did a great job of portraying that, especially since you see that in contrast with his interactions with human actors. So when he's actually acting with people opposite from him, and he just maintains that same consistency throughout the entire movie, whether it's with Pokemon or if it is with human actors. So he definitely was a perfect choice for this movie. Now, if you haven't already seen the movie, I would highly suggest you stop watching this video now. I'm going to be getting into all the spoilers. I'm going to be breaking down plot points. I'll be talking about things that weren't mentioned in the promotional material as far as from my knowledge. I'm going to go ahead and get into things because they definitely went full Marvel and just completely removed things from the trailer that were in the actual movie. I'll get more into that later. But I loved the flow of this movie. It definitely surprised me. I was expecting a fun movie, but I wasn't expecting an intriguing story. Especially not as intriguing of a story as I got. But thank you again for tuning into the video. I'm assuming if you're still watching at this point, you saw the movie, and if not, get ready for a bunch of spoilers. And quickly, I just want to say, Justice Smith, again, was very phenomenal. I already kind of touched on this a little bit ago, but I just wanted to state it again. He was just so phenomenal throughout this movie. Ryan Reynolds was excellent as well. Honestly, I completely forgot it was Ryan Reynolds' voice behind Pikachu. And yes, there were plenty of times throughout the movie where I'm like, oh, that's Ryan Reynolds. And Ryan Reynolds even shows up at the end in person. I'll get more into that later, but it definitely... Justice Smith, I think, is the reason that you kind of forget Ryan Reynolds as Pikachu, because you really believe that trainer-Pokemon relationship that they start to build throughout this movie. And even though, yes, he's out there acting by himself most of the time, standing in front of nobody, talking to himself, because they add Pikachu later through CGI and everything like that. It's just so phenomenal how believable their relationship is. But Rhyme City is this place where Pokemon and people live together in complete harmony. Pokemon trainer battles, I believe, are outlawed in this city, although there are the underground trainer battles, which you see a lot in the trailer. The Charizard versus Pikachu fight, I'll get into that a little bit more, but it was actually founded by Howard Clifford, played by Bill Nye, and if he looks familiar, you probably remember him from playing the father in About Time. I know, I always reference this movie, and me and my girl are actually watching this movie right now, but anyways, we get Tim Goodman's father, Detective Goodman, who is actually played by Ryan Reynolds. He's sent by Bill Nye's character to get Mewtwo because he's actually the big bad guy in this movie. And since he's he's trapped to a wheelchair, he wants to get Mewtwo because he has this plan to basically sync one human with Pokemon and become one. So he basically wants to put his mind into Mewtwo, which he does succeed in doing. And actually in this image here, which we've seen a lot in the trailers and the promotional videos and stills, but Mewtwo actually was wearing the device. I forgot what they called it, but he was actually wearing the device on his head in this scene and actually at this moment, which was what Harry was using to put his mind into Mewtwo's body. And I really love the science that they put behind this. Mewtwo lets off this chemical that allows them to produce this thing called like serum R or something like that. It's definitely something R. But it essentially makes the Pokemon go mad and allows people to transfer their mind into Pokemon, which actually happens at the end of the movie where almost everyone's a Pokemon. And it's even shown at the end that Ryan Reynolds' character, Detective Goodman, is actually put into Pikachu. His mind is put into Pikachu's body, so it is proven that Mewtwo can make this happen. And I love how throughout the movie we're really introduced to the Serum R. In the beginning, we get a hint of it when the Apoms get a whiff of it and they kind of go mad. At this point, we're not really sure what's going on with it, but then later, we see this trainer with his Charizard actually give Charizard a whiff of it, which is what makes Charizard go raged and mad when he's actually in his battle with Pikachu. And in this scene at the underground is where we actually get a lady following them around and doesn't say any words, but just sends a message, and she's wearing these glasses with purple gloves. And there was hints of it earlier. If you saw the movie, you know what I'm talking about. But we saw a Ditto earlier, and I felt like it would be essential. And at this point, I knew that Ditto was transforming into people, and he'd be transforming into Pokemon. But I had no idea that Ditto was even going to be in this movie. But Ditto played a huge role in this movie. He was definitely essential. One of my favorite parts was just seeing anyone with glasses on and me being able to be like, yo, I know that's Ditto, that's a Pokemon. And my girl had no idea what was going on because she's not as well knowledged in the world of Pokemon. It just isn't really like, she's not as crazed on it as I am, but it was just so funny to see her reactions to Ditto as a Pokemon. And Chris Greer as Roger Clifford in this movie was also terrific. I definitely thought he was the bad guy for about the first third of this movie, and even after it was the Ditto impersonating him, I wasn't really sure at that point because I thought he was a bad guy, so I didn't think that was Ditto. That was Ditto impersonating him when we find out it is, and he's actually a good guy. But he just does an amazing job with the character. He brought more to the character than I even thought there was with him, but it was just fantastic. And if there is a second movie, which I am expecting there to be, I do expect him playing a pretty big role in the future of the franchise. They did set him up to be restarting in Rhyme City and trying to correct the things that his father did, so there's definitely room for more growth with that character and more for him to do in the future of the franchise, trying to make up for everything that happened. So there is a lot to do, and this is a very dynamic character who has a lot of layers to him. He's definitely not completely nice or a pretty good character. He does has pretty like asshole tendencies and stuff, so just interesting to see where they'll go. But real quick, I do want to harp on the negative here. I wasn't a fan of the character Lucy Stevens at all in this movie, played by Katherine Newton, and I'm not too familiar with this actress, but she didn't really impress me in this movie. I don't know if it's the material she was given or if it's just the way she delivered her lines, but a lot of people really surprised me in this movie. This movie had a lot of ups, but she was one of the few downs I thought it had. The story was great, the writing was great, the acting was great, apart from her character. Her Psyduck was amazing. I love Psyduck in every scene he was in. He was the funniest thing about the entire movie. But I'm not too excited to see her in the future of the franchise if they do continue to make movies, which I strongly believe they will. They have a lot they can do with the Pokemon franchise if they want to do it, so there's so many routes that they can go. I really hope we continue to see Pokemon movies because I love seeing this live action iteration of Pokemon. It's just so delightful and so nostalgic. But that about wraps it up for my movie review. I'm going to start doing all movie reviews with a rating between 1 of 10. So if I had to rate this movie, I'd give it a solid 8. It's definitely an amazing first watch. I'd have to see it again to see about how I feel about it a second time around. But after seeing a lot of the plot twists and everything like that, I don't think it would be as enjoyable the second time around. But let me know what you think of the movie, and please everyone, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and click the bell for notifications, and like and comment on the video. I'll check you guys next time on my next video.